Very good morning to all our viewers, the students of the Certificate in Healthcare Waste Management, the program in charges, counselors and the regional directors. First of all, at the outset I would like to congratulate all the students of Healthcare Waste Management for having enrolled in this very important program, and I welcome you for this very first teleconferencing in your session. Before we go ahead, I would like to introduce the experts on the panel. To my extreme right is Dr. Sumati Muralidharan. She is a microbiologist at the Regional STD Teaching Training and Research Center of the Safdarjung Hospital, and she is also part of the teaching faculty at the Vardhaman Mahavir Medical College, Safdarjung Hospital. And more important is that we have a program study center for this program in Safdarjung Hospital, and she is one of the academic counselors. So those of you who are in Delhi and attached to Safdarjung Hospital will be seeing more of her, and otherwise she is an expert, and she will be taking the session today. To my right is Miss Ratna Singh. She is working as a consultant in the School of Health Sciences, and she has been actively involved in the program. She is one of the backbones, and I think she is working as a lubricant so that the whole program runs smoothly and nicely.
Good morning.
Now, since this is the first teleconferencing, I would take a few minutes to introduce you to the program, to the school, and before we begin our session on the program. Now, this program belongs to the School of Health Sciences. This is one of the schools of IGNOU. We have about 10 schools in IGNOU, and IGNOU School of Health Sciences has got various programs which it has developed and launched for medical personnel, health professionals, nursing people. And the first program which was launched was BSc Nursing program in the year 1994. And after this we have got a postgraduate diploma in maternal and child health, which is for MBBS doctors, and this is basically dealing with pediatrics, community health and obs and gynae. Then there is a program on PG diploma in geriatric medicine, again only for MBBS doctors. This is basically for the care of the elderly, teaching them. And then we have got a postgraduate diploma in hospital and health management. This again is a program which is not only for doctors, but it also includes other health professionals like nursing people, those who are working in the hospital. They can take up this program. Then we have another program which is innovative and which has been launched this year, and this is postgraduate diploma in community cardiology. This again is aimed at the MBBS doctors, but unlike the other programs, it is a full-time program. And it's a program in which the students are attached to the hospital throughout, and they work as residents, and they are learning this program, and they will be given the diploma. Then of course we have this very important program of healthcare waste management, which has been launched again from this year. You are the second batch of this program. And we have other programs which are in the pipeline. There are two very important programs which are under the development, and these are PG diplomas in oral implantology and endodontics, basically for graduates who have done their BDS. So Bachelor in Dental Sciences. These are PG programs for them, and very important is that these two programs are in collaboration with the Dental Council of India. We have got the request from the Dental Council of India, and they will be recognized by the Dental Council of India. So now coming to this program of Certificate in Healthcare Waste Management. This is a program which is of course the need of the country. As you all know that waste management is a very important part of the healthcare, and most of the waste, though only 1% of the waste is hazardous, but if this waste is not segregated and disposed, then the whole waste becomes infectious, and so it's very important that we should know how to manage this waste. This program has been developed in collaboration with the WHO, and it is basically not only for India but for CR countries, all the Southeast Asian countries. And in India already we have got about 14-15 centers all over the country, and in each center there are around 10 to 30 students in each of the centers. Now this program is of course of 6 months duration, but the students, as you have enrolled, you can complete the program in 2 years. If you are, because of some academic personal problems, you are not able to complete the program in 6 months. But personally I would advise you that it is better that you try to complete the program in 6 months, because once you take the laxity, then the program, you may become lazy, or you may feel that all right, that program I can do it in the next 6 months or in the next to next 6 months, so it's normally, it just is left out. And this program, I hope that all of you have received the admit cards, you have received the I-cards, you have been told what is your program study center. In case you have any doubts, you can email us. We will be giving you the email address, but immediately you can ring us up. I would like the studio people to show you the phone numbers in which you can call us just now and tell us about your problems in case you have not received the I-card, not been told about the program study center, or you have not you have not received the material. And please check that all your material is there. You should have a program guide. You should have 4 blocks in the first course, that is the booklets we call blocks, the 4 blocks in the second course, and there should be a project guide. So if your material consists of all these, then it means your material is complete. And you can also, you must have already discussed with your peer people who are sitting with you there, that whether what is the material, and whether any information gap that you are having. Many of you will also be meeting your program in charges in the regional center today, so you can also discuss with them about the practical spells which I will be telling you about just now, when they will be planned and how you will be taking place. I also hope that all of you have filled in your examination form, because the last date for filling in the term end examination form is 30th September, and because of this we had dispatched a letter from the School of Health Sciences informing you about this teleconferencing date, informing you about the examination dates, and that you have to fill in the examination form. So in case you again have any doubt about the examination, you can again ring us up just now, or you can also fax us. I would kindly request that if we can have the fax numbers and the phone numbers displayed, so that the students can note them down in case they are of course also available at the regional centers. I would also request if the regional directors could inform us how many students are there in each of the regional centers, so that we are aware how many of them are attending this induction meeting. Now coming to the program per se, I would you can note down the phone numbers, so that then we can go ahead. Yeah, now can we have the first slide please? You all must have already received the material. Now this is what the program design consists of, the program package, as I have told you. Can we have the slide please? We have got self-instructional material which consists of booklets, and these booklets are the program guide, the project guide. This academic counselor's guide is not provided to the students. This is basically meant for the counselors, but since this is part of the program package of the program, it has been mentioned here, but this is something which does not go to the students. And then you have already received the handbook and brochure which had given you the basic information when you had joined the enrolled for the program. There are certain videos which have been prepared. These videos are available at the program study centers. So when you will be going for a 6 days contact period, we have a 6 days contact period at the identified program study centers, where the details of which again I will be telling you just now. So this program you can go through and you can come to know. You can also see the videos over there. What videos we have prepared and sent, those videos will be shown to you at the program study centers. Then we have got the program design. Now this program design consists of course 1, in which we have got 4 blocks as I told you, and then we have course 2 which again has 4 blocks. I don't need to go into the details because you already have this program with you. Now this is the basic contact period, 6 days contact period as I told you. The first day we have had a small induction meeting today, but there will be a detailed induction meeting on the first day of the contact period. And again we will be having theory counseling. Now basically theory counseling means that you will be come prepared with the material. It is expected, because this induction meeting or this contact period will be there sometimes now in October, and we expect that by now you may have gone through some of the material. It is better that you go through some of the blocks, and whatever doubts you have, those doubts you can get it cleared in the theory counseling. And you can also ask, the counselors will also take up certain topics which they realize by their experience that they are topics which may be difficult for the students to understand or comprehend. Now we have Dr. Sumati here. She is a counselor, and I would request her that in case if she wants to say something in between, she is welcome. Otherwise, after the contact period, I will also tell her to say a few words for 2-3 minutes to tell us that how we are organizing these contact periods and how it is beneficial to the students. Then we have a field visit of a healthcare waste management setup for the students to see how the healthcare waste is being managed. Then there are certain more few field visits, and then since you have to do a project, now project counseling also is done during this contact period, in which the academic counselors guide you, help you choose a topic, tell you how the project has to be got about, and sometimes you may have a problem in choosing the place of doing the project. Again, the counselors will help you, and sometimes you may be taking the project in the program study center itself. So it is best to discuss with your counselor, academic counselor, how to go about the project. And then, of course, as I mentioned, that we have certain videos which will be shown and discussed during the program, the contact period at the program study center. And ultimately, you should be able to build up a model waste management system, which shows that ideally how the waste management should take place in a hospital. Now, this is of course the detailed contact session plan. I will not go into the details because you have got this detailed contact session plan in your program guide, and you can go through it. And this is subject to variation. The different program study centers, they may change the timing or the sequencing of this contact session depending upon the availability of the experts, the availability of the center, the availability of time for visiting the center, and video, and so on. So all the logistics and administrative issues will be deciding when you will be holding the sessions. Now, since you are there in the regional center today, and if your program in charge is there, you can discuss with him as to when you will be having this 6 days contact session. So before we go ahead, I think I would request Dr. Sumati to just mention and tell us how useful this contact session can be, and how the students can be benefited from this.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Kuba. Good morning, everybody. We have this 6-day contact session in our hospital at Safdarjung Hospital, where our medical superintendent is the program in charge, and we are 3 academic counselors. So we divide the students into groups, but the theory counseling, of course, is in general for all the students. And we have a comprehensive package kind of a program where the students are given theory counseling, and plus the video sessions where we show them the videos that Dr. Kuba was mentioning about. And at the end of every video session, we have elaborate discussion sessions where the students are free to ask us any kind of questions and clarify any kind of doubts they may be having. And apart from that, most importantly, we take them for the field visits. That is, in our hospital, since it's a very big hospital, most of the facilities are available in our setup for waste management. So we have the incineration plants and the CSSD department, which is in itself is quite a big department. And we take them to the wards and various operation theatres, the ICUs, and practically demonstrate to them how the waste is being managed, all the healthcare waste is being managed. And apart from that, the project that the students are supposed to complete, we guide them on that also. Here we divide the students among the 3 counselors, and we take charge of the students' projects, and with the students we decide on an appropriate topic and some kind of feasible topic which they can perform easily. And at every stage of the project preparation, we guide them, and so that at the end of it they have their projects ready, and they have a clear idea of what exactly is expected of them, both in the theory and as far as the theory exams and the project submission is concerned.
Thank you, Dr. Sumati. Now, as she was mentioning about the project, a little more details on the project I would like to inform you. And see, basically we go in the IGNOU programs according to the credits. Now, this is a 4-credit project. That means 1 credit is actually of 30 hours of work. So this project has been allotted a time duration of 120 hours. Now, this 120 hours means that it should be 120 hours for planning, project preparation, for actually doing the project, and for writing the report. So this 120 hours you have to, with your counselor, divide into this time. Of course, majority of the time should be for doing the project, and some time will be there for writing the report, and the rest of the time can be there for review of the literature and for planning of the project. So this is how you have to think. It should not be a very optimistic project, and at the same time it should not be a project in which you have just copied it from somewhere, you have just taken the review of literature and just noted it down. It is not that kind. It's something on hands-on you should do. And in the whole project guide that you have been provided, we have mentioned the various methodologies which can be adopted. For example, it could be a KAP study, it could be a case study, it could be a an analytical study. So any kind of a study you can take. And more important than that is that the theme of the project should be relevant to the program which you are doing. Besides this, the project will also be evaluated. There is a 50 marks for the project evaluation, and 40% is the pass percentage. The project has to be passed separately. You will also have a theory term and examination at the end, and this theory term and exam is basically you are going to have 2 exams in the paper 1 and paper 2. The paper 1 will be of 2 hours, and the paper 2, that is BHM 002, will be of 3 hours, and there will be a weightage of 50 marks for the BHM 1 and 75 marks for the BHM 2, and you are allowed to appear in the exam, as I told you, in this December. Otherwise you can appear it in the next year. And this is what is about the evaluation pattern. Again, in the theory also you have to have a minimum 40% pass in both the papers separately. You have to pass the 2 courses separately. In case you do not pass one course, then you will have to reappear in that course, and the other course you are declared clear. Now, we also have teleconferencing and radio conference. We are already participating in a teleconferencing, and you now realize what it is, that it is a 2-way interactive system where you can clear your doubts by dialing the toll-free number. And we also have a radio counseling, in which the radio counseling through the FM 2, we give the dates in advance to the students, and in which they participate, and they can also ask the questions just like in teleconferencing. They can dial and ask. We had a radio counseling for the last batch, and we will again be scheduling another one. But we had for this batch also, I think.
Yeah,
we had it for
this
this
in September. Yes.
Yeah, we had it in September, and we did get some questions. So I think many of you may have attended it. And let us see if we can have another one before your examination, because there may be a lot of queries according for the examination. We may try to hold another one. Now, this is the summary which is shown in this slide according to the marks, division of marks, that is 50 and 75 in the 2 respective courses. Pass percentage for all of them is 40, and again the project has 50 marks. Again the pass percentage is 40. Now, there is some important dates that I would like to inform you, and that is the examination dates have been fixed. This is on 18th of December, that is for BHM 001, that is from 2 to 4 p.m. and on 19th for BHM 002, this is from 2 to 5 p.m. And as we have already mentioned that the last date was 30th September, but if you really want to appear for the exam and you want your results, then with a late fee also you can fill the examination form. But till 30th September there was no fees, and I think many of you may have already filled in. Now, there is an IGNOU website, the address of which I am providing here. You can, I think the website address is not coming on the screen. This is a little cut, but it is ignou.ac.in. So this website you can find all the useful information under the School of Health Sciences or under for students. Now, these are important phone numbers of the school, and you can note these phone numbers and the fax numbers. and you can also email us if there is any problem. The email addresses are given. There are two email addresses. One is of the school and one is for the program. So in either of them they are regularly seen every day. So the best is to email any problems you have. Otherwise you can fax and phone us. Please kindly note the numbers. Yeah, I think now whatever problems you had, you can now please ring us up and you can ask us. I think you can take out your presentation, because now I would request Ms. Ratna, who is a consultant with our school, to present on the topic of rules and regulations, and I think you can take the topic.
Thank you, Dr. Kuba. The reason for developing this course is that it has been made a legal requirement from the Ministry of Environment and Forest that all the waste which is generated from healthcare establishment needs to be managed effectively. And this important course provides us an insight into how different aspects of waste can be handled. So today I am going to take you through the biomedical waste management and handling rules which have been notified by the Ministry of Environment and Forest. The rules were notified under the Environment Protection Agency Act of 1986, and before 1998 the government did little to realize that the waste which is coming out from healthcare facilities was hazardous or infectious in nature. Prior to 1998, any waste was considered as infectious waste, but gradually the problem of mixing the two was realized, and government took upon themselves to notify an act which was specifically for this stream of waste. So in 1998 the first notifications came out, and it was open for public comment for 60 days, in which time was given to various civil society organizations and to interested citizens or to green activists to participate in this notification process and to give their comments. So by July this time period ended, and in 1998 we had the final version of the rules, which was called the Biomedical Waste Management and Handling Rules. After which we have had considerable amendments to these rules to further substantiate it and to accommodate the various inputs that were received from general public and from the practicing hospitals, which realized that there are certain amendments that needs to be incorporated to make the rules much stronger in nature. The rules are also supported by 3 guidelines which are in different areas, and they provide further strengthening to the rules. We have to realize that India is the only country in the whole of Southeast Asia which has biomedical waste management and handling rules, and countries other than India are still grappling with the issue and have not been able to identify or to notify any rules which will support these activities. So many countries look upon India to frame the rules from here and to adopt the principles and policies that we have notified. So these guidelines are very, very thought out processes of various heads put together who come to a final decision as to how various aspects of waste management would take place. The important point to remember is that these rules apply to all people who generate waste or collect, receive or store, transport and treat this biomedical waste in any form. So any facility which is generating even a single cotton gauze or a single syringe in the process of treatment comes under biomedical waste management and handling rules, and they have to take proper precautions as to how they would adhere to these rules. The rules have given definitions of various aspects of how people can identify themselves to different categories. The biomedical waste has been defined as any waste which is generated during the diagnosis, treatment or immunization of human beings or animals, research activities or in the production or testing of biologicals, including categories mentioned in Schedule 1. Schedule 1 is a schedule which lays down the 10 categories of waste which is produced from hospitals. An occupier has been defined as a person who has control over an institution and is generating biomedical waste. This provision has been laid down to identify a single point person in the institute. Another important clause in the biomedical waste rules is the provision of authorization. which is required for each healthcare facility or any single individual or any clinic who is producing the biomedical waste. So authorization is a term which means that permission needs to be granted by the prescribed authority for the generation, collection, reception or storage and treatment of biomedical waste in any form, and even if you are handling any amount of biomedical waste, that needs to be done according to the rule, and for this proper authorization needs to be taken by the facility. Therefore, it becomes the duty of every occupier of an institution which is generating waste, be it a nursing home or a clinic or any small veterinary hospital or an animal house or even a small pathological labs, which we see these days are so common, they are lined up across the streets. All of these institutions have to take an authorization from the government, from the prescribed authorities, so that any waste which they are generating is managed according to the biomedical waste rules and does not cause any adverse effect to the human health or to the environment. Now what if an institution has taken an authorization, it becomes the duty of an occupier to ensure that the biomedical waste is handled without causing any adverse effect to the human health and environment. Therefore, they have to make sure that they are properly segregating their waste as per the color code prescribed, or they are attached to a facility which will take care of the disposal of their waste. So there have been various schedules which list down these nitty-gritties of how disposal and segregation can take place in the hospital. And the point to be remembered is that biomedical waste shall not be mixed with any other waste, because as we all know, biomedical waste has the property of infectious agents in it. So any waste, if it's mixed with general waste, it can cause a lot of spread of diseases in the community. Therefore, the key point to remember in the biomedical waste rules is that segregation forms the backbone of these rules, and every occupier is required to segregate his waste according to the type that is being produced.
Ratna, before you go ahead, I would like Sumati to tell us that after these rules have been framed and they have come into being, has there been a change in the ground situation? Do you feel that the various institutions are following whatever has been laid down? Are they segregating, or is there a discrepancy between the two?
There is definitely a marked change in the way waste is being handled, especially after these rules have come into force. Because I can speak for my own hospital, where I've been there a long time now, and before these biomedical rules came into force, it was quite sorry kind of a state. But now things have really been looking up, and apart from the hospital, of course we have a chief medical officer who is exclusively for the biomedical waste management, the healthcare waste management in our hospital, and under her able guidance and work, the waste now is being really segregated properly, and you can go walk into any of the wards or the OTs and any part of the hospital, and you would see that things are in place. And of course, managing a big hospital like ours.
On the whole, all over the country, what you would like to comment? Like, what is the situation?
All over the country, also from what the information we get on the net and elsewhere, I'm aware that in some places like Bangalore and all that, they have a very good waste management program in place. The Command Hospital and a few other hospitals.
Yeah. We know that there has been a lot of sensitization, but I don't know, from your experience also, Ratna, you can also add that we know that there is a lot of sensitization and the segregation is being taken place, but is the management and disposal also being taken place in the same way, or we are just limiting ourselves to just the segregation in most of the places and proper disposal in only a few of them?
Gradually, I think more and more cities are realizing that waste needs to be managed, and centralized waste facilities are coming up in most of these cities. So more and more the emphasis is now on having a centralized location where people can send their waste to and manage it in an effective way. But you're right, in smaller cities the problem has still not reached that level. People are still not realizing the magnitude of the problem if waste is improperly disposed. But in countries of the south there have been tremendous improvement. The Central Pollution Control Board with its states chapter are doing a huge amount of training. They are putting in lot of effort for training of the healthcare staff, for the nurses, for the paramedics. So this is become a regular exercise for the pollution control boards, wherein they train most of the state staff. And government hospitals are also now gearing up to the process, and regular inspections are conducted by these pollution control authorities, which makes them on their toes always, and therefore they are required to perform in the necessary manner.
Yes, and if I may just add, it's not just the healthcare personnel and the healthcare facilities which are, following up on these rules and all that. The awareness is really increasing, and I've also heard recently that in Pune, in a city like Pune, they have the residents are educated on how to manage their waste,
yes,
and they are asked to segregate the dry waste like paper and cardboard from the kitchen waste, and they have to go in different bags and all. So this is really something, if the public is also getting into it.
But that is the general waste, not the healthcare waste.
Also the public is playing the role of a watchdog in the hospital waste category waste as well, because they are being asked by the pollution control authorities to report if there any kind of mixing which is found in the waste. So they go and complain of the nearby healthcare institute that is not following the waste management policies. So that's actually acting as a strong pressure lobby for the government to keep on its toes.
Yeah.
And also for the institutes.
I think I would just like to add here one more information, that though we have provided the CDs to the program study centers, these CDs are also on sale in IGNOU, and besides that there is one CD from CPCB which is available on the internet and which can be downloaded free from the internet, and it's a very nice CD which can be shown in most of your, if you're working in a hospital or in a nursing home, it can be just put on for just like Ratna is saying that the general public also acts as a watchdog. So this will be like increasing the awareness among the general public. These CDs can be just played on the on the TV, and the viewers who are sitting waiting as patients or as attendants, they can just see it and become more aware about it. So I think we can continue with the presentation now.
Yeah. So the Schedule 1 of the biomedical waste management and handling rules lists down the 10 categories of waste that is produced from a hospital. Now it's not necessary that each of these 10 categories would be produced in a hospital. Certain specific waste streams come out from a hospital, but more or less to cover the whole, to bring the whole waste management aspect under its umbrella, no waste stream has been left out from this categorization. Against each category of waste, the government lays down the treatment and the disposal option. So you can see that the government has provided alternate treatment technology options, which means alternate to burning, and burning technologies include incineration. Now alternate to burning are all steam-based technology options like autoclaving, microwaving or hydroclaving, and also the government lays down the provision that any new technology can be accepted if it meets the norms and standards laid out by the Central Pollution Control Board Technically and Advisory Committee. So if a vendor comes up with a new technology, he or she can get it approved by the government and the hospital can use it then. But as of now, only these limited technologies have been approved by the Central Pollution Control Board. The hydroclave was the last one to be included in the list and has found 2 or 3 installations to its credit in the country. But the most favored option which is used all across the country these days is the autoclaving option, wherein it's a simple steam-based technology option which people use for treating all their plastic waste and solid waste. Now this is the color coding which has been provided by the ministry under the biomedical waste rules. Color coding is very important to follow as this helps in segregation. Now there was a lot of thought process that went into why different colors were specific to different category of waste. It was not just by their whims and fancies that the government decided that yellow, red and blue because they liked the color. It was because of a lot of thinking and logical reasoning that the color went into it. So yellow bag has been prescribed for holding all sort of animal tissue, human animal microbiology and soil waste. Now yellow was specifically chosen for these category of waste because these category go into incineration for treatment. And red was not chosen as that because red color has cadmium dyes in it, and if we burn red color in the incinerator, the cadmium would be released into the environment. So these are scientific thinkings that went into the process of selecting the waste, selecting the color coding for the containers. So red has been prescribed for microbiology, soiled and solid waste, whereas blue and white translucent is recommended for holding the sharps waste. This is because you could see through a translucent bag the amount of sharps that has been accumulated in the container, and therefore we can avoid any prick injuries. The black has been recommended for discarded medicines, cytotoxic drugs and ash from incinerators, as well as chemical waste. Certain other provisions and clauses that need to be kept in mind is that if the hospital is attaching itself to an off-site treatment facility, the container or the plastic bag which is being sent out from the hospital should have all the information which is mentioned under Schedule 4. The transportation of this needs to be done only in authorized vehicles, and this is a very important point to remember, because a lot of times there have been reported cases of how the waste has not reached the central treatment facility but has been dumped on the way. So to avoid all these kind of confusions and improper disposal channels, one needs to ensure that authorized vehicles are collecting your waste. It's very important to remember that no untreated waste can be left in the facility for a period of beyond 48 hours. And in case there has been a breakdown in the system, emergency permission must be sought from the prescribed authority. Other than this, you cannot keep waste for more than 48 hours in your facility. Municipal authorities have to play their role in collecting the waste which is non-biomedical in nature, and they cannot refuse any healthcare institute. If they are not providing the services, then the institute can complain to the municipal authorities. But they will only collect your non-biomedical waste. There are certain prescribed authorities in each state and each district which look after the proper management and disposal, and they are the authorities who give you authorization for collection or treatment or generation of any kind of waste. Now, if you are in healthcare institution, it has been laid down by the rules that authorization needs to be given in the 90-day period from when it has been sought. And if it is being declined, like many times the pollution control agencies find that the hospital is not doing its segregation properly. So to make the hospitals come up to a certain level, they cancel the authorization. But there has to be certain reasons which are provided for why the authorization is being cancelled for an institution. And if the hospital or the institute is not happy with it, they can file for it in the court and ask for a renewal of authorization. But the prescribed authority remains the ultimate voice in this, and they have the power to cancel or suspend an authorization. This is the framework which was laid down for in the initial years of the rules, that all facilities which are serving more than 1,000 patients each month need to take an authorization from the government. And initially the authorization, though the rules say that authorization is given for 3 years, but a trial period has now been built in, wherein authorization is just given for a period of 1 year, and then essentially subsequently you need to apply for authorization again. Records is a very important point in the rule, wherein the authorities lay down that all kinds of records need to be maintained as per as how much amount of waste is being generated, what is the collection mechanism in the hospital, who is the point person for collecting the waste, where is the waste being stored, because the rules has laid down the specific criteria of a storage area, the method of treatment and disposal that we are opting for, and also these rules are subject to inspection and verification at any point of time, because when the prescribed authorities come into the hospital for their checking, they see that whether the treatment technologies are functioning properly, whether the records have been maintained, whether the centralized facility person is coming every day to your hospital. So all these things are only possible if you have maintained your record, and record provides an insight to the prescribed authorities for looking into all these matters. The rules say that all accidents, if it takes place in a hospital, needs to be reported instantly so that it can provide a cover to the healthcare workers who are working. And also annual reports need to be maintained so that when you are applying for authorization, it acts as a database. Some of the important points of the rules are that, to again say that waste is not permitted to be stored in your facility for more than 48 hours. The rules strictly prohibit incineration of chlorinated plastic, or any waste which is being chemically pre-treated cannot be incinerated. This is because chemicals, the polyvinyl chloride chemicals, when burnt on high temperature, releases gases like dioxins and furans, which are extremely carcinogenic in nature. The waste has to be labeled so as to ensure what is going into each bag, and the labels should be non-washable and visible. The deep burial option has been provided for places which are less than 5 lakh in population, because rural areas cannot have technological options like incinerator functioning. And also inclusion of new technologies has been permitted under the biomedical waste rules.
Just one second, I would just like to ask that do you feel that this deep burial will it not result in pollution of the soil? And
there have been very specific criteria listed down for deep burial option, and not all waste can go, only the animal and human tissue waste can go into deep burial, and they have advised that you do a 2 centimeter lining of lime so as to prevent spread of infection. And also because this is more important because of the fact that incinerator and other technologies cannot be installed in a rural place, because there will be not enough money for a small hospital to buy this expensive technology. Also the functioning and the operation of an incinerator is very technically intensive, so people might not find the right operators to do it, or the sound engineers who can run it and maintain it. So that's why the provision of deep burial has been incorporated for places which are less than 5 lakh in population. These are the technologies which have been permitted under the biomedical waste rules, have also been discussed in detail in the rules, and certain points have been listed against them. The functioning of these equipments have been mentioned, and some points to remember if you are following an incinerator as a treatment technology option is that chemical treatment cannot be allowed for waste which is ending up in an incinerator. Chlorinated plastics cannot be incinerated. A low sulfur fuel is to be used, and the toxic metal in ash should meet the hazardous waste rules specifications. These are, to answer your question, these are the standards which have been laid down for deep burial, and like I said, it should not be in a habitation area. It should not contaminate water. It should be dug in 2 meter deep pit, and 50 centimeter lime layer should be added to control the spread of infection. It should not be accessible to animals, and other points need to be kept in mind. These are the labels which have been prescribed under the rules for the containers. This is Schedule 4, which lays down how you need to label and transport biomedical waste containers and bags. There have been other associated guidelines which have come up under the biomedical waste rules. These are guidelines for centralized waste treatment facilities, a guideline for setting up and maintenance of an incinerator, and guidelines for management of waste which is generated under the Universal Immunization Program. These guidelines just strengthen the rules and provide a detailed understanding of the biomedical waste rules and the associated clauses. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ratna, for a very, very detailed presentation of the rules. And I think rules is one area which I think Sumati will agree that is difficult to comprehend when you read it. It's a very dry topic. So, but when you hear it out on a session like this, then it is more easily absorbable. So, I think that is one of the reasons why we had taken this topic, and I think Ratna has really covered it well, and each point has been detailed out for you. So we hope that now this at least 50 to 60% of the matter may have been retained by you, and it will become much easier for you to read this topic when you will have to go for examination. Any doubts you have, you can ask us by phone or fax, and we will close just now for a 15 minutes break, and we shall be meeting in the second session, in which we will be taking the health impact of the infectious waste, and also mercury, effect of mercury. Thank you.